On the 16th of December 1944, in the freezing stillness of the Ardennes, Adolf Hitler unleashed one of his last desperate gambles of the war. Operation Watch on the Rhine. A massive German assault tore through the snow-covered forests straddling the borders of Germany, Belgium and Luxembourg. The surprise was total. The attack smashed into a weakly held sector of the American front line, and for the Allies, it was a thunderbolt from nowhere. They had believed that Germany, so battered and broken, no longer had the strength to mount an offensive of this scale. But Hitler had a plan. His aim was to push through to the Meuse River, capture the crucial Allied supply port of Antwerp, and in doing so, split the American and British armies in two, cutting them off from each other and from their lifeline of supplies. However, things did not go as the Führer had envisioned. American resistance was far more stubborn than anticipated. The German timetable began to unravel as US troops, outnumbered and outgunned, fought back with ferocious tenacity. The delay gave the Allies precious time to rush reinforcements into the breach. Soon, the great bulge that Hitler had driven into the Allied line was surrounded, contained, and slowly crushed. Yet, even as that offensive began to stall, Hitler's ambitions had not cooled. He ordered another strike, smaller in scale but equally daring. Its code name, Operation Nordwind or North Wind. The goal this time was to shatter the US 7th Army and the French 1st Army in the Vosges Mountains and across the Alsatian plain. If successful, the Germans would drive on to recapture the city of Strasbourg by the end of January 1945. Nordwind also served a strategic purpose, to divert Allied strength away from the Ardennes front, relieving pressure there. And, in Hitler's grand but delusional vision, it was to pave the way for Operation Zahnarzt, or Dentist, an attack meant to strike the rear of General George S. Patton's Third Army, then threatening the southern flank of the Ardennes battle. As the New Year's bells of 1945 rang across war-torn Europe, Operation Nordwind began. On the night of December 31st, 1944, German Army Group G launched its attack against a dangerously thin, 68-mile-long section of the American line, manned by the stretched and exhausted US 7th Army. The fighting that followed was ferocious. By mid-January, 17 under-strength German divisions were fully engaged. The battles, fought in freezing temperatures and blinding snow, were among the hardest ever fought between German and American troops. The small towns and villages of Alsace became death traps. Every street, every farmhouse was contested. One of the bloodiest engagements unfolded around the town of Hatten and Hélesheim, or, as the Americans called it, Hélesheim. On the 16th of January 1945, US forces began an assault to reduce the German salient around Hélesheim. The US 12th Armored Division sent in 3 task forces. One, based around the 43rd Tank Battalion, advanced across open ground toward the town, only to be met by a wall of fire from 8 concealed German anti-tank guns and several assault guns. The attack faltered, leaving burning Sherman tanks strewn across the frozen fields. The other 2 task forces were also thrown back by relentless German small arms and mortar fire. Undeterred, the Americans tried again the following day. The 17th Armoured Infantry Battalion fought its way into Hélesheim, but was soon pinned down by growing numbers of German troops, roughly 1,500 men of the 553rd Volksgrenadier Division. The 43rd Tank Battalion, now down to just 29 Sherman tanks, attempted to press forward in support. Engineers acting as makeshift infantry followed, but the chaos of battle prevented them from linking up. German Panzerfaust anti-tank launchers took a grim toll. Then, early on the morning of January 17th, reinforcements arrived. From the nearby town of Offendorf came SS Sturmbannführer Erwin Bachmann and his battalion of Panther tanks from the elite 10th SS Panzer Division, Frundsberg. Before they could reach the town, US anti-tank fire knocked out 4 Panthers and damaged several others. In thick fog, Tetsch was forced to pull his battered force back to Offendorf. At this point, SS Obersturmführer Erwin Bachmann, the battalion adjutant, took over 3rd Company after its commander was wounded. Bachmann decided to reconnoitre the outskirts of Hélesheim himself. He and his driver mounted a motorcycle with sidecar and sped forward through the mist until they reached a road junction. Dismounting, Bachmann crept along the roadside, advancing cautiously until he reached a bend. Suddenly, American machine guns roared to life. Bullets tore through the air. Bachmann barely escaped, sprinting back to the motorcycle. Grabbing a Panzerfaust anti-tank launcher from the sidecar, he took note of several Sherman tanks he'd spotted during his brief foray. He ordered his driver to return to German lines and bring up a platoon of Panthers. Soon, 2 Panthers under SS Unterscharführer Mulbrat approached the edge of town, while Bachmann slipped back into Hélesheim alone, Panzerfaust in hand. From a vantage point overlooking the main street, Bachmann spotted 2 Shermans idling just 30 metres away. He took careful aim and fired. The rocket slammed into one of the tanks, engulfing it in flames. With the element of surprise lost, Bachmann withdrew to the Panthers, which had cut their engines to remain silent. The 3 men, Bachmann, Mulbrat, and the other Panther commander, quickly hatched a plan. The 2 Panthers would charge into the town, covering each other as they advanced, while Bachmann ran alongside, armed only with his pistol. Panther 1, led by Mulbrat, took the left road. Panther 2 moved on the right to draw American fire. As Panther 1 reached the junction, it opened fire, knocking out a Sherman, then another and another. After several minutes of chaotic fighting, a white flag appeared. An American officer approached Bachmann, standing beside Panther 1, and offered to surrender himself and his men. Nearby stood 6 apparently undamaged Shermans. Bachmann agreed. He ordered the officer to gather his men and stack their weapons in the street. To Bachmann's amazement, around 60 American soldiers emerged from the shattered buildings and obeyed. Even more surprising, the officer pointed out a group of 20 German prisoners, captured earlier by the Americans, still held in a courtyard nearby. Inside that same courtyard, Bachmann found 6 more Shermans, all intact and operational. Thinking fast, he ordered the American tank drivers to step forward. The freed German soldiers were rearmed with captured US weapons, and Bachmann paired each tank driver with a German guard. Then, incredibly, he ordered the Shermans driven back to Offendorf, 12 fully armed, fueled and functioning tanks. He radioed his battalion headquarters. Expect a little gift. The gift arrived soon after. 12 pristine Shermans, along with 48 American prisoners. Bachmann wasn't finished. Pushing forward with his 2 Panthers, he reached the eastern edge of Hélesheim, where another fierce engagement broke out. 2 more Shermans were destroyed. In total, Bachmann's tiny force had knocked out 9 enemy tanks and captured 12 more, an astonishing feat of arms. For this, Bachmann received the Knight's Cross. His Panther commanders earned the Iron Cross First Class. The captured Shermans were incorporated into the 10th SS Panzer Division and sent east to fight the Soviets. By late March 1945, the division still had 10 of these Beutepanzers, or trophy tanks, though only 1 was still operational. On the night of May 7th to 8th, as Germany surrendered, the division destroyed its remaining vehicles to prevent their capture. Erwin Bachmann survived the war. He lived a long life, passing away in 2010 at the age of 88. As for Operation Nordwind, it ended as it had begun, in blood and futility. By January 25, 1945, the offensive was halted. Hitler's attention had shifted east, toward the unstoppable tide of the Red Army rolling toward Berlin. Operation Northwind, like the Ardennes offensive before it, had failed. The last gasp of a dying Reich